Welcome, everyone, to this episode of the Expansive CEO podcast. I'm your host, Hannah Chapman, and today is a very special Fireside Chat episode with my wonderful, amazing executive assistant, Svetlana Lane, who's here with me. And we're going to talk about how to actually manifest. I'm going to put it that way. But in this example, we're going to talk about my recent move, which was a really, really big transition from Cincinnati, Ohio, over to Mesa, Arizona, which is right outside of Phoenix. And it was a lot. It was really big. There were a lot of moving parts, and it went so amazingly, incredibly, beautifully well. And some of the ways that it happened were like really amazing and fascinating. And I wanted to be able to share how all of that transpired and share the story. And Svetlana also went through a big transition and real estate transaction lately. And we were like, oh
Without
my gosh,
physically moving.
right? Without physically moving, right? But it was also like another like a very similar experience in a lot of ways. So we wanted to come on and talk about that together. So hi Svetlana, how are you?
Doing great. I'm so happy to be here again. It's been a while since we've done a fireside chat, so it's kind of fun to be back.
Yes, always so good. I love it. So do you do
Yeah,
you
go
have any
ahead.
questions you want to kick it off?
Well, it sounds like this journey for you has kind of been almost spiritual too, in the way that you dreamed about your new place and how things happened, in the transition. So I guess let's just start. Do you want to tell us your story and how, like, the intention of telling the story is just how that almost kind of like a manifestation, right? Example of your dreams, right? And the things that you were hoping to get in a house and also selling your house, right?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
So let's start there.
Yeah.
Um,
I guess I'll start with this question. When did you want to move? When did you decide to move? Like how long ago was that? And then, maybe so we can have a little timeline.
Yeah, yes. And I'll back up even a little bit further. So I was born in Chandler, Arizona, from the Phoenix metro area. My husband also, he was technically born in Texas, but moved to Chandler, Arizona when he was like 6 months old. So also raised here. I'm an Arizona native, right? Like this is my home. And I lived in Chandler all the way through, up until I was about 19 years old. And then I went to Northern Arizona University in Flagstaff, Arizona. Um, Arizona girl. And my husband also, we went to NAU together. We moved to Cincinnati originally back in 2007 for him to go to grad school. He got into grad school at the University of Cincinnati in the music program in CCM, which is one of the best music schools in the country. It was amazing. It was such an important milestone for him. So in 2007, we moved to Cincinnati. And that's when I started working at Ameriprise. That's when, all of our life really happened. We had just gotten married in 2006. We had our first two kids there, Clara and Henry. And after we had Henry in 2013, it was just, we didn't have any family there. And it was really hard. It was really, really hard to have two little kids, to be working full time, to not be able to really afford childcare, and to also have no support, no family support. And so we decided to move back to Arizona. I kept my job. I kept my position with the group that I worked with. Adam went back to school, got a software engineering degree when we came back to Arizona, and we had our third baby. In that time, right, we were back in Arizona from 2013 to 2018. We moved back to Cincinnati again for my job. That's when I was meant to take over a practice um, at the group that I worked for before. I was told that if we moved back, I could take over this practice. It would be a great opportunity, and so we moved back. We moved back to Cincinnati from Mesa, Arizona at that time for that opportunity. And that's the one that fell apart. If you've heard the podcast long enough, you've heard that story, um, and really catapulted me into creating X Squared. So I launched X Squared in 2021. And at that point, we were really like contemplating, like, should we just move back now? We're not tied to Cincinnati. We don't have family. I have wonderful, amazing friends there. Um, but again, we didn't have any family there, right? And so we had been contemplating even from that time, like, oh, is it time to move back? Since I'm not, my job isn't tied there. Adam was working remotely as well. Since like 2017, he's been remote fully. Um, and at that time, Henry and Clara, our two older children, they had been having a really hard time in school. They're both on the autism spectrum. It was not a good fit for them at the school district they were at. And we were able to get them into a school in the Cincinnati area called Linden Grove School. It's for kids specifically on the autism spectrum. And we were like, okay, we're going to give this a shot. We're going to see how they do here. They both did so incredibly well in 2021. So it was the 2021 school year that it was just leaps and bounds. It was so different from what they had experienced before. They were so much better supported. We finally felt like supported as parents, like they could go to school and we weren't going to be like waiting to hear if something was going wrong. Um, it was so much what they needed. And so we made the decision back then in 2021 to stay put
Mhm.
so that Henry and Clara could be at Linden Grove and have a healing educational experience. And so we were there, and each year we kind of were like just gauging when we might be able to go back to Arizona. This past year, so last summer, we decided that with Clara was going to be in eighth grade, and at Linden Grove they only go up to eighth grade. So
Mhm.
that was it. It was like, okay, she's going to have to transition to high school after this school year anyway. So what if we make that decision that this is going to be our last year here in Cincinnati, and then we're going to go back to Arizona because Clara's transitioning to high school, Henry's transitioning to middle school, and then is now in fifth grade, right? Which is another kind of a transitionary period for elementary school too. So that was the original impetus. We're like, okay, this is the time. This is our chance. If we don't go now, then we don't want to interrupt Clara's high school. But we also felt really pulled, and that it was really important to be back near our family. I have brothers. Adam has a brother and sister. They all have kids our kids are all very similar in age. Um, and very sweet, very amazing. They play so well together. They are all such just wonderful kids. Um, and our parents are getting older too.
Mhm.
And it's like, it just felt really important that we be here and we get to actually be involved in our families' lives. And so a big piece of what we dreamed of when we were dreaming about the houses, so last summer we were like looking at houses. We couldn't buy anything at that point, right? It was like, no, we have to sell our house in Ohio before we buy anything. But we were dreaming. We were looking at houses and seeing what was available and seeing what the market was like. And one of the most important things was we wanted to be able to like have everyone come over. We wanted to be able to have, our siblings over for dinner and have all the kids just come hang out and be able to swim and be able to be safe and just have fun together. And so that was kind of the first kernel of we want to be back. We want to be back with family and we want to be in a place where everyone can gather. And so that we can just be with everyone and have fun together. So that was last summer. And then this is where kind of the manifestation starts, I would say, because this is then we had to look at our house and in Westchester, Ohio, and kind of start deciding what we needed to do with that as far as what needed to be fixed, what would make the biggest difference, what would make the house what would leave it better than when we found it. So this was our third house that we had purchased. So we had purchased two other homes before. And each time, and this was very important to us, every place we've ever lived, we've left it better than we found it.
Mhm.
And so that was definitely going to be the case with this house too. And this house felt very special. We had so many ups and downs. As a couple, we had so much like deep transformation that happened there between me and Adam, and also as a family. And we really wanted to honor that house. And another funny little spiritual note I wanted to add: our across the street neighbors have been there for like 9 years. They'd been there for a while, and had said, there have been two other couples before us that lived there just since they lived there. And we were there for almost 7 years. So like a couple people had cycled through, and both had been divorced, had gotten divorced in that house.
Interesting.
Right? Like, and I do believe spaces hold energy and hold, what came before. And so we also had a couple of really hard times in that house as well, where that was part of the conversation, like where I was ready for like, I don't want to be married anymore.
Mm.
Um, and yet
Wow.
we,
I would have never guessed that in my life. From
right?
knowing you and Adam. Yeah, ever.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've shared, I don't know where else I've shared that. I've shared that a couple of times. But not super deeply.
Yeah.
But it was, I mean, it was really hard. We had a few really hard seasons of feeling very disconnected from one another.
Yeah.
And it truly feels like the work that we've done, especially over the last couple of years, and have literally have had the best 2 years of our marriage ever at this point, 24 years in to being together. We've had wonderful times together, but this last 2 years has been like
Yeah.
really good.
Awesome.
um, it felt like
So
we
you
healed.
cleaned up the energy
We
out of the
cleaned up the
house.
energy of the house, right? Like we changed it. We shifted that. Yeah, and didn't have that, be our story also while we were there. And as we were looking at it, part my intention from the beginning, so for the last year at this point, my intention was I want to infuse this transaction, this transition with so much love, with
Mhm.
ease, and with joy. And like the crux of it is the love, is like literally infusing this every aspect with love. And so that was the original intention. That was the my commitment to bringing as much love into this process as I could, and holding that. And so like literally from the energetic standpoint of seeing my house and being, when I'm meditating in my house, like literally thinking of my house being surrounded by love and covered in love, and that like emanating out into the neighborhood and into the world, and like being a center of love as part of my meditation practice. And then we started actually doing stuff, right? We painted the house, we painted the outside, and I had always wanted to paint the brick white. We have a brick house. I never was happy with it.
Gotta interject here. I always wonder, how on earth are you so loving? That's so funny that you say that because I always think that she's just so loving. Like she's just so,
Oh.
I've always gotten that from you, especially, yeah, like now that you've come in, I worked with your kids, like we've gotten to know each other more in the physical space, right? Like being in the same room together, and you just always have so much grace and so much love.
Mm.
And well, I'm always so hard on myself, you know? And that makes sense now. You sit there and you
Mm.
meditate on this, like this energy to be over you. Okay, so then you
Yes.
started painting. You painted your
Yes.
house. That's so cool.
Yeah. And so then this, like from a human design perspective, right? Like a lot of this ties into, like I have wanted to paint the house white, like a soft, creamy, perfect white, for literal years since we moved in. Excuse me. So, I mean, we moved in 2018 and I was like, I want to paint that brick white. And we just didn't
Long
do
term.
it,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. And so this was finally the time. And so I got to even just like sitting with the colors and getting to like
Mm.
feel the energy of the house and like what felt really good. I found the perfect white. I found the perfect complementary color for the trim. And
And
then
if anybody wants to know what it is, we'll put it in the show notes.
we can. It's White Duck by Sherman Williams. It's really good. It's like excellent. It's not bright white. It's not creamy white. It's like that perfect. Um, you've seen it, right? It's
I
good.
have. I love it. It's great.
And then even to the point of like, what color is the door supposed to be, right? The front door is so important. Um, and I played around with that. Like I thought about it for a while and then we tested a few colors and I was like, oh no, 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 no. Like the first color we tried, we didn't paint the whole thing, but I just did like swatches and I was like, it's not right. It's not what the house needs. And I ended up going with a really dark forest green
Mhm.
and did that on the front door and then also on the back doors to the house. And when I tell you, we had almost every person who walks, our people walk in our neighborhood all the time. Anytime we were outside and someone was walking by, they would be like, "Oh my God, your house is so gorgeous."
Aw.
Like, I love the front door. I love the color. I can't believe how good it looks. And thankfully, we did this back in September. So we got to enjoy it. We didn't sell until May. We got to actually enjoy living in this beautiful house that I had always wanted it to be this color, right? But it truly like it was like uplifting. Like the whole neighborhood was like, "Oh my gosh, that's so good. We love it." Um, and at that same time, we also redid the flooring in the basement. We did a few of the things that really needed to be done for the house to really be elevated. And talking with our realtor, who's one of my really good friends, who I love so much. She's amazing. Shout out to Holly Tumbleson. If you need a realtor in Cincinnati, she's my girl. She's amazing, right? She's the best. Um, and so, she was so good because she's so thorough
Mhm.
and she's so pragmatic. And she came in. We're like, okay, what happens if we want to sell this house for $525,000?
Mhm.
Because that was the number. It was like 525. That's feeling like something around there feels correct. And she came back. She looked at the comps. She looked at what had been selling, and she was like, "I'm a little. I'm not sure about 525." Right? It's looking like 485 to 500 is probably the sweet spot based on all the comps in the neighborhood. Like, okay, we can deal with that. Like,
Mhm.
that'll be fine. I was really thinking 525 though, right? Like, all right, we'll do that.
You're
Uh,
still lingering in the back of your head.
Still lingering. So, but we were part of this practice again, right? So as we're doing every step of this process, as we're painting the house, as we're doing the floors, as we're um I literally was also on my hands and knees restaining the hardwood floor. So the flooring in the first floor is what's called it's like a manufactured hardwood. I can't remember what the actual name is, but it's a hardwood, but it's a very thin layer of hardwood. And then if there's any dog scratches, any dog nails, and any Your kids drop something on the floor, right? It'll go straight through the color. And then you have like all this light colored because it's not actually fully hardwood. Engineered hardwood. That's the name of it.
Yeah.
So we couldn't sand it. We couldn't redo it. Someone came in and was like, well, we could rip this up and put in the plastic vinyl plank flooring and then some carpet and that, we could do that. And I was like, no,
Mm-hmm.
no, that's yuck. No, that does not elevate things. Um, mm-mm. So we found a stain that was the right color to match. And because we have dogs and they had scratched up the floor and there were different areas that needed, and bar stools had just rubbed
Yeah.
things raw. I went through and Adam helped some, but this was mostly my project and restained probably a third
Yeah.
over the floor. Overall, it was a lot. Like I did a lot of work. Um, and to the not prettiness of the process, like I actually like gave myself a little bit of tendonitis in my elbow.
Mm. Yeah.
That wasn't great. So I am supporting that at this point. But even still, I was focusing on the love of this house, the love inside of this house, the love of, you know, making it beautiful and welcoming for the next family. It's a neighborhood with tons of families. It's a 4-bedroom house, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
meant for a family and a young family.
Mm-hmm.
So just always in every step of the process, like holding that intention of, I can't wait for someone else to love this house as much as we have.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did all of these improvements, right? And we're mindful of the price, but also wanted to do it right, and not cut corners and not do things that were like super cheap or flippy, right? Like, no, we wanted to do things the right way.
Your basement.
The basement is awesome. Like we did tile in the whole basement, wood look tile throughout the whole basement. It had been carpet. That was really good to get that out.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
The bathroom, I think, down there, right? You guys had
yep. Yep, we redid the bathroom down there, painted a little bit more.
bar, maybe?
We took out there was a bar top, like it had been like a little bar man cave area, and we're like, we have never used it, so we ripped that out. So it's just a nice big open space again. It's perfect, especially perfect for kids. So good to have a space for the kids to go down.
Yeah.
Um, and again, just always focusing on what we loved about it and what was going to be there for the next people. We planted a dogwood tree in the front. But we had wanted to do that for years too, and we finally did it last fall. And it survived the winter and it bloomed this spring, and it was so pretty. And it's going to be so beautiful as it grows, all of that, right? And when it came down to it, talking to Holly, talking about like how we're going to do this, she had suggested that because we have 2 dogs, we have 3 kids. We both work from home. It's like a really big production to like get everything, keep everything super clean, and then get everything out of the house to have showings, right? If you have to show your house for weeks or months, right? It's exhausting. And I was like, here's another manifestation point. We do not want to do that. We want to get this sold in one weekend. So
Mm-hmm.
what do we have to do so that we can get everything beautifully clean, take pictures, have it look amazing, and then we get an Airbnb for the weekend and we just leave and we're
Mm-hmm.
out of the house so that people can come in, right? And we can just have a blitz of a weekend and then we're done. We come back and it's done. That was the intention.
Mm-hmm.
And Holly was like, "Let's do it, girl." And so that's what we planned. So we planned to have everything ready. Um, we listed it on Easter weekend, actually. It was the Thursday before Easter, which in April this year, April 25. And at first I was like, ooh, is that going to be hard because there's going to be people, celebrating Easter? Is that going to work? Well, we listed it on a Thursday, had the pictures done on Tuesday, got those all up on Wednesday, put the listing live on Thursday. And once again, as we were leaving, Adam and I we do a weekly meeting. We do, a relationship board meeting kind of every Sunday. And throughout this process on Sundays, again, like I was saying, as we meditate together for a little bit, 10 to 15 minutes to start before we have, just our conversation for the week. And during every time during that meditation, it would be just infusing love, visualizing the house sale going even better than we expected. And one of the things that I really believe and sink into is this or something better,
Mm.
this or something better. And when we listed on Thursday, the house looked gorgeous. The pictures looked amazing. And we were so happy with it. Everything was great. We listed within minutes of the listing going live. People were scheduling showings. So showings started 3 p.m. on Thursday. We had like booked out for the whole day of showings. And we were like, all right, cool. We're out of the house. People can do their thing. We were expecting to have an open house on Saturday, all of that. We're like, going to show on Thursday, show on Friday, open house on Saturday, and we'll see what happens.
Mm.
Well, Thursday, we start getting feedback that people love the house.
Mm.
Friday, we wake up at 9 a.m. We have our first offer. So again, Holly had said she was a little nervous. She wasn't sure about 525. But she thought 500. Okay, if we list at 500, that should be okay. So we listed the house at $500,000. It was sort of right in line with the estimate, definitely in line with the comps, all of that. But we knew the house looked really good. And we had really, really done our best to make it show really well.
Mm.
Hired, had cleaners come in and like do a professional clean, all of it, like the whole 9 yards. And this first offer that came in right at 9 a.m. from people who had seen the house on Thursday was for 510.
Mm.
So they came in 10,000 over asking, and they had an escalation clause. I had never experienced this before, but I had heard about it. I had heard about it just like a month prior that this had happened in another area of Cincinnati, that someone else had put in an escalation clause and still didn't get the house. And I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. I wonder if that'll happen." Yes,
Mm.
so they put in an escalation clause up to 526, meaning if someone came in at 515, they'd be at 516. If someone came in at 525, they'd be at 526.
Sounds like an
And
online auction.
yes, exactly. Yeah, like
You're
yeah,
max
very
bid.
very eBay, right? Yeah. eBay for houses. Um, and a $10,000 appraisal gap. So if the appraisal came in at if they ended up at 525 and the appraisal came in at 515, they would still pay 525. They would cover $10,000 of appraisal gap. And we were like, "Oh my gosh." Like
Mm.
that is amazing. And
Mm.
so we're just like, "Okay, that's very awesome." Like we were almost ready to sign the paperwork. And then Holly was like, "Hold on, another couple is about to write an offer."
Mm.
The realtor let me know they're about to write an offer. The second offer comes in not even 2 hours later at 530.
Mhm.
$530,000. So the first one was at 510. Mind you, we listed at 500. The first one was at 510. The escalation clause was up to 526. The second offer right after theirs was for 530.
Mhm.
So this maxed out the first couple, it maxed out their offer to the 526. The second offer had a couple more stipulations around it, that they wanted an inspection, which is fine. We weren't going to like not consider that, but they wanted an inspection. And if there were any, structural issues or mold issues, they would be out.
Mhm.
And we're like, okay, well, we don't think that there's any issues in either of those cases, but we don't know, we haven't had an inspector come in and do an inspection, so we don't know
Mhm.
everything they're going to find. So we're like, okay, that's interesting. The terms of the first one feel a little better. So we were literally like going to go with the first offer. And I
Mhm.
was trying to e-sign because everything is e-sign now. We literally did our real estate transaction on our phones, is how it happened.
What? That's crazy.
Right? Like all the sign, like everything was like
Are they like out of state? Is that why? Or
part of it. Yeah. We did have to do some physical signing as well, but like most things were happening and we were e-signing everything.
mm,
Well, the e-signature stuff, it was stalling out. It wasn't going
mm.
through. And I was like, this is so weird. It's not working. And Holly was like, hold on. There's one more offer that's coming in. And that third offer that came in while I was trying to sign the paperwork for the first offer was for $538,000 with a $20,000 appraisal gap with a information only inspection. So they wanted to have an inspection, but they would not ask for any repairs
Mhm.
on
They
the
wouldn't
inspection.
the price or anything.
Right? Yep. Basically gave themselves like no out. And it was April, and we needed to be able to stay in the house until Hazel's birthday on May 30th. And they gave us occupancy until June 15th for
Hmm.
with no lease back, no lease back,
Yeah, that's so
which
cool.
was so amazing. Like,
Mhm.
so each offer was like better and better and better than to the point where like we literally were saying in that second offer, like, well, gosh, the only thing that could be better is, you know,
Yeah.
if we could have a quick close because we were in the real estate transaction to buy this home and, a longer, like have until about like June 14th or 15th.
Hmm.
That is exactly what the next offer came in with.
Yeah.
And we didn't say that to them specifically. You can't say that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But that's literally exactly what came in.
That's so cool.
And so at that point it was like that's that's the winner, right? It was like, and it was Friday. We had been on the market less than 24 hours. It was Friday at 2 p.m.
Hmm.
Literally not even 24 hours, and we were signing the contract. And so
That's
we canceled the open house on Saturday. We had an Airbnb for the whole weekend, but we didn't really want. It's like hard with the two dogs, the three kids, and we're like, we're going
yeah.
home. We're just going home.
Hmm.
And so Friday night we went home and we celebrated, and every step from there with the especially with the sale
Hmm.
was just filled with love, filled
Yeah.
with wonder, really, like filled with like, this is so amazing how all of this is working out. And I truly attribute it to the intention of love that we held for that home, for that transaction. And when I said 525 and this or something better, we ended up with 538.
Cool. Yeah.
And it was everything that we needed to
Hmm.
purchase our new house in Arizona, to have this truly beautiful home. Again, like one of the things I loved so much about our house in Cincinnati was that it was on just under half an acre. It was like 0.45 or something like that of an acre, and it was all tree lined around the backyard.
Yeah.
So we had a nice open backyard, but then big trees around the perimeter, and it just felt so safe and beautiful. And like I loved having the birds. I loved having little birds, songbirds in my backyard.
Mhm.
And this house in Arizona is so unique because we have trees. We have big mature trees all the way around our lot. And we have birds. We literally have a horned owl, a great horned owl that
Oh, wow.
lives in the tree behind us. We have um, so many hummingbirds. We have all kinds of lizards that are hilarious. Dove. We have birds everywhere. It's,
They
it's
all eat
like
each other because it's the circle of life.
right. We got hawks. We got owls. It is a circle of life over here. We've got kestrels, osprey, um, and it's so cool. It's so cool.
Yeah.
We have the swimming pool. We've never had a swimming pool before.
Aw.
Um, like we can have people over. We have a space. We have a nice big table so everyone can come eat together. And we have literally, even in just the first month of being here, we have been able to have people over. We've been able to really like do that
Mhm.
and just, have family come help and hang out. And it's been such a blessing. Um, and again, like my my ability to open up to receive more and more,
Mm.
for to be able to receive this or something better. I have been cultivating that over the last, 4 or 5 years. Like I've been really, really focusing on that. And then to see that really come to fruition from the intention, holding the intention very, with such commitment, and
Mhm.
then also taking the steps, taking the necessary steps, doing the work that
Mhm.
comes with that intention is what allowed things to transpire the way they did.
That's great. I like that the good things are happening when you get more healing and you have that container for, I don't know, because you always hear about the bad guys getting all the stuff, and you know, I like this.
Right.
Like,
Yes.
not, you didn't cheat people out, but you were quite the opposite, trying to bring more love. And I remember somebody, oh, when I went to your house to pick up the things you couldn't take with you,
Yeah, that
your
was annoying.
neighbors were there. They were like grabbing stuff out of your basement. Like they were getting flooring or something.
Hmm.
Look, they left a fish. They told me that you guys left a little fish tank for the next family. Like that's so loving and caring and considerate. Oh, let's get you her a little fishy tank. And
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't know. I love that the universe is rewarding that. Rather.
yes. Well, and the little girl, it was so sweet because they brought her, the couple brought her, she's 5, and they have a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. And the 5-year-old came with them for this trip. Because they had gone back and forth to Cincinnati several times and she didn't get to go. And she's like, I'm going this time. They're like, okay,
Aw.
you can come. And when she was walking through the house and, she was looking at things, she was like, do you think they'll leave a fish tank? Like she wanted a fish tank, and they were like, "Oh, honey, I don't think they're gonna leave their pets. So, but we'll get you a fish tank." And then in Hazel's room, she had a little desk attached to the wall, like a little vanity desk attached to the wall, and they weren't sure if we were gonna leave it, and so they took a picture. She's like, "I love this. Well, okay, we'll get it, and we'll put one right back." And so I asked her, I'm like, do you like, which room do you like? And she told me that one. And I was like, oh, do you like the little desk? And she's like, yeah, I love that. I was like, do you want to keep it? She was
Oh.
like, they were like, oh my gosh, you don't have to. I was like, it's screwed into the wall. Like, we don't want, I
And you're
would
gonna.
rather, I would rather leave it. So we don't have to repair the holes. Um, but just to be able to, yeah, to be like, yes, that's for you. And we literally had an extra fish tank because our kids wanted to keep their fish tanks, but we
Yeah.
had an extra one that Adam had been trying to give away and couldn't even give away. And he was like, I'll just use that. I'll set it up.
Yeah, how sweet. Yeah, I just love that. Like your intention was actually to give and to love and
Yeah. Oh, and the last thing we did,
yeah.
uh, so we also left them. There were several like places that we really loved that were super special. One was the Donut Dude. It was Adam goes and gets donuts for the kids every Sunday. It's a whole tradition at this point. But there was a local place, little like family owned, amazing donuts, amazing people, and we loved it. And then there was, what was the other one? Um, it was a restaurant I love. Svetlana, you know this one.
Is this the Saigon Noodle Bar?
Oh, yes. Saigon Noodle Bar. Yes. Vietnamese. Best
Okay.
pho
Okay.
in Cincinnati. Big shout out to Saigon Noodle Bar.
Absolutely true. 100%.
Right. And then the other one in Liberty, I can't remember the last one, but there were these three like local family owned, like very like wonderful, amazing little places, and we got them gift cards
Mhm.
and
Oh,
left them like a little card with like, here's some of our favorite places we would, that you can try to. So just because they're coming in, they're new, they're not from the area. So like, here's some cool local places for you to try that we have really loved. So we left them gift cards there so they could go have dessert. Oh, graders. I think we also did graders
of
because
course.
Cincinnati is
Yeah.
graders. Right. And that felt really, it felt really important and special to do
Mhm.
that, to leave that love. And we saw on the other side, on our buying transaction,
Mhm.
same, right? We're still cultivating this same aura of love, and the realtor on the seller side here in Arizona, you could feel the competitive,
Mhm.
I'm just here to do what's best for my client and screw you guys energy that was like present. And it was like, whoo, that feels very different
Yeah.
from the energy that we were putting in
Mhm.
as the sellers, on the other side. And Adam was very instrumental, my husband, in keeping me calm because there were a couple of times that I was like, I want to be F you, I'm out to this guy because
Yep, your meditation that day was
the meditation was, I was needing some
enough.
needing some grounding. But overall, right, like keeping in mind like just how beautiful
Yeah.
the whole process was. It doesn't mean there were no hiccups. I cried many times from feeling overwhelmed,
Yeah.
but it was absolutely incredible.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's so cool. I love that. I feel like we need to have a part two, like part one, your story, and then part two, like a reflection on, you know,
That's
your
such
journey.
a good idea. We should
Yeah.
do that. Yeah, because you also have to go soon. Um, but your story, your example is
Yeah.
also like really powerful.
Yeah, I can quickly share that too, where when I divorced, I had no place to live, and I found a woman who gave me her word that when the apartment was ready to, after it was remodeled, that I would move in. So I started like that. Then I was in this one bedroom studio apartment building my music studio. And then I needed a bigger place to stay, and I literally couldn't find anything to rent. So there's an old kind of like an acquaintance friend who was walking towards me on the street, and I just said, "Hey, do you know any place that there's to rent?" And she said, "We have a place just down the street that we need to rent." And off I went and we moved in.
Oh my gosh.
It was like this boom, boom. It wasn't like searching Zillow or, I just felt like I need to ask this woman, do you know anybody that I'm looking for a place? Do you know anybody? And so boom, that happened, and I lived there for 2 years, and then they were like wanting to sell it, then they changed their mind, they wanted to sell it, and it was kind of like back and forth. And with me starting the brick and mortar, that was really just like a lot financially. So how was I going to qualify for a loan at that point? And anyway, so it's been a journey trying to even figure that out. But then they were gracious and said, "Look, we want to sell this place, but we'll give you the time to, you know, to figure that out on your end." And then I was able to do, and I just closed this month. And so that feels that feels good too. Yeah, like because we haven't had stability, like it shifted so much for me because now I feel like, oh, I'm here. I'm
Mhm.
not like floating nebulously, like I'm here. There's a whole new feeling of that. Like I have my space. It's mine, it's nobody
Yeah.
else's. And yeah, and that feels really special. And it's like a very healing thing because I never owned a place. And even when I was married, I never had my name on the house even. And so even though I should have, but you know, naive,
Right?
trusting people out there,
Now you
like
know.
can relate to this story. but yeah, that also felt so good. Like that healing journey has come, and it's like a chapter that was done. And yeah, so that was very spiritual too, just believing and seeing that through in faith, and having my landlord was so loving and so caring and so loving for my situation and so patient, and and wanted to work it out for me, and he didn't want me to go homeless, and move me out with my daughter, and so that was just so sweet, and as well. So lots of good people in real estate transactions.
Yes. Yeah, truly, truly.
And Holly
And
helped me too. Holly was amazing, so I have to vouch for her as well, of course.
yes. And then also, shout out to Kate Rissover who helped you with, loan
Yeah.
aspect, right? Because being a business owner
Yes.
is different when it comes to getting underwritten for a mortgage. And not everyone is very good at working with entrepreneurs. And I met her in a networking group, and she's amazing, and she loves
It
that. And
is amazing.
she has such a beautiful heart too for helping
Mhm.
people exactly like you, right?
Yeah.
Like
And she
first
walked me
times.
through it for a year and a half, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so
Yeah.
cool.
It felt really really special for me too, to see you go through
Yeah.
that process, to have, to like see Holly and Kate and like people like come around you and
Yeah.
support you. It's been really, really beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. So we both can relate to each other in different ways.
Yes.
So we look at,
Yes. And there absolutely is. I mean, I was looking at our human design, our manifestation arrows as well, and like how that played out in different ways. So we can absolutely do a part two on
yeah,
this.
we need to do a part two, I think. This was like
Okay.
great, like, here's what happened, but I think let's come back to the table and do here's how, like, I don't know, the lessons learned and just like,
Lessons learned. Yeah, that's so good. Yeah. Initial lessons. One,
yeah,
just like moving from love.
that is a good lesson.
Moving from love is, yes. What would love do? I love that question. What would love do?
Absolutely.
Um, and again, yeah, it's not wishy-washy, it's not soft or weak. Love is powerful.
Mhm. Because you also have to love yourself.
Exactly. Exactly. And hold that intention of like, this is what's best for us and our family. And, that's very important too. And to be grounded
Mhm.
in that,
Yeah.
um, the knowing that you're moving from that place of really wanting the best for everyone involved.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Let's refocus our conversation to that. I think that would be amazing next time we meet. And
Uh,
thank you so much for having me.
Thank
And I'm
you.
sorry
Thank
I
you,
have to
Svetlana.
run.
Yes, no, thank you so much. It's been so wonderful sharing
And
this
I didn't
story.
know you shared a lot more details of the process. I knew most of it, but still some of the little pieces were so fun for me to hear and like revisit with you. And yeah, I love that. So thanks for sharing
Beautiful.
that.
Yeah. And if anyone has any other questions that they want to know about or anything with this process, send us a note, send us an email, and we'll get to them in part two. Thanks for
Yeah.
being here.
Thank you. Take care.
That's it for this episode. Thanks for listening, and be sure to like and subscribe. And again, if anything resonated with you from this episode, I would love to hear from you. Email me at Hannah, HANNAH, at expansiveceo.com and tell me about it. And if you're ready for your greatest expansion, you can find ways to work with me at expansiveceo.com and at x2wealthplanning.com. That's X, the numeral 2, wealthplanning.com. So until next time, remember that there is enough, you are enough, and your birthright in this lifetime is to be expansive.